Hello, all our Star Vista Live folks out there, all of you cruisers that are enjoying yourself at home or doing your best to enjoy yourself at home. I'm your virtual cruise host, Jason, and today I have the esteemed honor of having with me the first family of music, the Jacksons. Gentlemen, welcome. It's so good to see you. We have Jackie, Tito, and Marlon. How you guys doing, man? Everyone doing all right?
Oh, we're doing good.
Chilling at home, doing fine.
You guys look good, man. I can't say, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat. It means the world. I know we all got time right now, but still, it means a lot. Some folks have a little more value in their time than others. So, if you don't mind, Tito, I'm going to take a shot at you first, man. You got a lot of very cool stuff on the wall behind you. Look over your shoulder. What are we looking at back there on the wall, bro?
Well, he got some records.
You're looking at a few Jackson records that
Just
didn't
a
sell.
few Jackson's records.
That didn't sell too well. You're looking at
Some failures, yeah.
the Tramp album. That's the Victory Tour album.
Yeah.
And I got the Jacksons, 3T, and Janet, everybody here. Michael.
What, if you don't mind me asking the personal question, what room are we in? Is this your studio room? Is this?
No, this is just the office that I use here in Vegas. Yeah.
And how are you staying busy with all this off time that I know you guys are not used to having?
Well, it's been great for me because I've been taking care of my cars, getting those in order, and I was in Japan for a couple of months just hanging out until I learned that the coronavirus was going to be detrimental like New York, so I got out of there. I came back to Vegas. Yep.
Good move. And Jackie, how about you, man? I know we were chatting a little bit before we got on.
You notice he said he came back to Vegas. He didn't go back to LA.
Yeah, he didn't go back to LA.
I came right. I was watching all the reports in the states, which were having more effect than others. So I decided to stay safer to be in Vegas than LA right now.
I think it's a smart move. Jackie, where you're in the Vegas area too, you were saying?
Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas too right now. Place called South Shore, Las Vegas.
And how are you managing this?
Well,
Go ahead,
I've been at home to spend a lot of time with the family, doing things with my boys in the pool with them and going on go-kart rides. We got a field across the street, so we got some go-karts. So we go out there and just ride it. We go out there by ourselves, And just,
sounds terrible.
Sounds
absolutely terrible.
Just spending time with the family, the boys, learning more things about my boys that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Well, I'm around them 24/7,
And people don't know, but you got young twins. They're what, 7, 8 years old, right?
They're 6 years old.
6 years old. Oh.
6 years old, and watching them do schooling on the computer with the teachers talking to them, and I can see exactly what they're doing now. It's very interesting. Very interesting. And what it's doing it's refreshing some of my memory a little bit.
Sure, yeah, right. The old math. You're like, dang, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because I'm working with them, so it's great. I'm just spending a lot of quality time here at home.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And Marlon, I know you're a little farther east than the other brothers. Where are you?
I'm in the Georgia area, in the Atlanta area, suburbs.
You guys are starting to open back up too. I saw that Georgia's starting to open up as a state. How is that?
Marlon didn't open up yet.
Marlon.
I didn't. No, I sure didn't, because what they don't know and what they don't tell you is that Corona can go through your bottom too, so you better get a mask for your bottom.
Everyone's going to be in a face mask and a diaper at the end of this.
Yeah. Face mask and a diaper. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before everything becomes designer too, right? You see some of the face masks out there. It's only a matter of time for the big designers get in there, and you got your Louis Vuitton face mask. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Tito just cut out. Tito, make sure you come back in. But Marlon, tell us how you're staying busy out there, man. How you doing?
I'm just hanging with my family, stay at home. I go get what I want to go get, and with my mask and my gloves on, come right back home. I'm not into this going out and
sure.
And I see people out there not paying attention, not social distancing, and what they do not understand is not about you; it's about everybody. Because
exactly. Exactly. And how's your little granddaughter? I know she's a pistol. How's she doing?
Oh no, they all. Oh, that one. Yeah, she's doing great.
That
You're
one.
like a 5-year-old. Yes,
Yeah.
she's doing fine.
And I was asking Jackie before we got on, but I want to make sure we ask on tape so everyone knows. Mom's doing okay? I know,
You know, my mom had a birthday the other day. She's doing
Yeah.
great.
And Jackie too.
And Jackie too, yeah.
I might call her
Yeah.
Jackie, but I couldn't get a hold of him. I figured he was somewhere partying.
Yeah.
No, Mom, I was trying to get to you, but I got so many people from all over the world. I mean, I got about 60 people.
You're a famous man, huh?
Yeah, who I need to answer. Yeah, come on.
Jackie knows people. Come on.
Come on over. I'm trying to get back to you. Yeah.
And Marlon, what are you doing to stay busy out there? What's keeping your time occupied?
We stay at home. That's what I do. Stay at home and watch movies, and and just hang out.
What are you watching? What are you watching right now? What are your go-to movies?
I was on Netflix and I watched that All American movie.
Yeah.
That series, I should say.
Yeah.
Which was really, really good. Which was a great series. I really enjoyed. And then I started watching The Last Dance. Have you seen that on ESPN?
Yes. Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan.
The Chicago Bulls. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Now, I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but I'm sorry, I have to. Since you brought up The Last Dance, Tito, starting with you, who's your NBA greatest of all time? Who's the GOAT for you?
I have to give it to my man Kobe.
Kobe's your greatest of all time.
Yeah. I feel bad for Kobe. He lost his life very close to my home, within 2 blocks from my home. So
wow.
I saw it before anyone.
Tell me the story. Tell me the story. What happened, Tito? How it happened?
Well, I was basically hearing all these ambulances pass the house. So I said to a friend, I said, why are all these ambulances? Why are they going to the school down the street? And I remembered, no, school's not open. It's Sunday. So they just kept going. Then I decided to try to take a look. I went outside my front door, and 2 people were walking down the street, and they said a helicopter just crashed on the hillside right there. She said, if you walk right there to the corner, you can see it. So I went in to put on some clothes because I was in my robe at the time.
Oh, I thought you could see you was butt naked.
Yeah.
But before I can even get to the corner, media was there. Everyone was there. It was crazy. So I decided I better take a little side step here and just, So I saw a lot from my bedroom window. You can see
that was.
But then your friend called you, Terry. Terry.
Yeah, Terry called me. He said, Tito, you hear what happened to Kobe? I said, no, what happened to Kobe? He said, they say he just died in a crash. I said, what kind of crash? Helicopter crash. Out there by you, man, somewhere in California. I said, Terry, there's a helicopter that just crashed on the hillside. He said, well, that's probably it, because they said it's somewhere in that LA area. And sure enough, it was.
That is crazy. Wow. That's I mean, first of all, it's such a sad, I mean, every loss of life is sad. Let's be honest, but all those kids in there too. I mean, his daughter, and
not only Cole. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people else.
I think there was 9, right? I think it was 9, and that's just tragic. Okay, so Tito's going with Kobe. Marlon, who's your GOAT? Who's your NBA GOAT?
You know what? I'm going to have to go old school because Michael Jordan, Kobe, all of them got it from Dr. J.
Dr. J's your boy. Okay, going back to Julius. All right.
Julius
and Jackie, what do you got?
Not saying that Michael wasn't great, not saying Kobe was great. They were great, but the doctor was the man. When did Jackie?
It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick.
It is.
I can't just pick one person.
It's subjective.
I have to say my list would be like Magic Johnson. I have 3 people who I really admire. That's Magic Johnson, Kobe, and Michael Jordan. And LeBron is getting there too. So
I know it's interesting to listen to it. It's a heated debate right now because with the Last Dance, to your point, Marlon, with the Last Dance coming on, everyone's really really kind of exploring again? Is it Michael? Is it LeBron? I mean, you can go back farther, right? You start to talk about Kareem. You start to talk about, Bill Russell. I mean, how many rings do you need?
That's right.
Bill Russell's the man now. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I look at it this way.
Oscar
There
Robertson?
would be a Michael Jordan if there wasn't a, tip of my,
George Gervin?
You're serious. I just thought, name is on the tip of my tongue. Jackie, what's his name? That played with Michael?
Scottie
Pippen. Scottie Pippen. Boy, he didn't get his due. Scottie was bad.
That's actually what they've been talking about a lot in this series is that, Michael said flat out that, you should never say the name Michael Jordan without saying Scottie Pippen and Phil in the same sentence. He's like, you shouldn't, there's no just Michael, it was all of us.
I take my head off to Michael for that. I really do. That's great. Another great player that people forget about, never mention his name, that was Dominique Wilkins.
That's right.
Neek, man. Neek.
Jackie.
That's right.
Look at Marlon's in Atlanta talking about Neek.
I'll tell you a story. When I lived in California, this is maybe 35, 40 years ago. I'm driving through Beverly Hills, and all of a sudden, somebody blowing their horn. They were in the Jeep, stood up. Marlon! Look up, it was Dominique Wilkins. He must have been in his early 20s or something. Sure was.
That's a cool moment.
It's great to know that those guys, supported you and appreciate your work and your music.
Sure.
It's like we appreciate those guys.
Sure. Tito, when you think back on all the years you guys have had this unbelievable success, obviously you're the first family of music. I mean, you guys are the Jacksons. There's 101 superlatives we could lay out. In your mind, what was the most fun time?
Wow. There's quite a few of them,
Yeah, sorry, not one, but what are some of your, what do you think back on?
I think back on the first time that we heard I Want You Back on the radio, how exciting that was to hear your recording released from Motown Records on the radio. That was one of the most exciting. Another one for me is probably having a repeat hit record, because they've always said that the second one is harder than the first one. When ABC exploded and doing the Ed Sullivan Show and all these other things, just that whole period was one of my most exciting times in the Jacksons. Then I can go into being inducted into the Hall of Fame with the Bee Gees, and it was a great time for the brothers then as well. So Victory Tour was nice too.
Marlon, as one of the babies of the group, what do you, when you look back on it, and by babies obviously I just mean your age, when you look back on it, what really resonates with you?
I think what resonates with me, as Tito stated, being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the youngest group, really, really says something.
What does it mean to you? I mean, you guys, I mean, obviously we know what the statement means, but what does it mean to you to get
what it means to me is that it lets you know that the people of the world appreciate your music, appreciate your work and what you've done. And what I didn't realize, people, as I got older, people would come to me and say, you guys are responsible for this. You guys are responsible for that. Not realizing that our music was so effective that it helped unite, bridge that gap between white Caucasians and black African Americans when they started integrating school and they started giving them projects about music. Everybody wrote about the Jackson Five and brought the black kids and the white kids together for the first time in the school system. Those type of things make you feel good inside because you didn't realize the movement your music was doing at that time and how important it was.
And Jackie, obviously as the elder statesman, when you look back on it, you have all these little brothers running around and all these shenanigans happening all the time. When you look back on all your time as part of the Jacksons, what is there an era or a period that you think to yourself, oh, that was I just love that?
Yeah, some of the things that Tito touched on, but the first record, I Want You Back, and Marlon just stated as well, and also us building a foundation around the world where we was able to tour, because some acts can't tour, right? They can only tour. In America. We were known around the whole globe, and we were able to do that tour around the world and play for the Queen of England twice. You know, come in performance, and that's something special when I look back and see everything we've done, stadium tours, and we sold out Dodger Stadium 7 nights in a row here in Los Angeles.
That's ridiculous.
And that's something that's never been done before.
Yeah.
And so we were able to do that. You don't forget about those things. Like Marlon said, we have great how the fans, you know, the fans always stuck with us. We've always treated our fans very kindly. And be able to have fans, great fans around the world means a lot to me.
Well,
you know, to the fans.
Amen to that. You know, and I say this, and I'm not trying to pander to any of you, but having done a couple of cruises with you now and had the good fortune of sitting down and chatting with all of you guys a couple of times, you are extremely gracious and humble. For people that have achieved what you guys have achieved and have the level of, to your point, Jackie, global. I mean, you're global. It's a global brand. You can, any country in the world, you play a couple of Jackson songs and people will start dancing and singing and they know that music. How have you managed to stay level-headed? How a lot of people get that little touch of fame and they start to lose it, not to mention that monumental fame that the Jacksons achieved. How did you guys stay grounded?
It's got something to do with our upbringing. My mother and father, you know, how they taught us, and they always taught us, no matter how famous you get, you know, you're still the same old guy. I'm still the same Jackie from Gary, Indiana, and I can't change me because I know where I came from. I know I used to walk in the snow and shovel walks and walk and take clothes to the laundromat because we didn't have a washing machine would break and we would take clothes on the laundromat. I don't forget those things. I tell those stories to my boys all the time. You know, I take down the garbage. I make them bring the garbage cans up, and they bring them up. And I have a pretty steep driveway, and they can bring them up.
do you give them the old? When I was a kid, I walked uphill to school in the snow both ways.
Yeah. I said, you guys get drugged around. You drive to school every day.
They don't know how easy it have it.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're supposed to make it easier for them, but still, you have to instill to them great qualities. You know what I'm saying? They have to I make them make up their beds, you know, they have to do that. You know, if they make up their beds every day for a week, they get $1, you know?
There's no inflation. There's no inflation in the Jackie Jackson household.
and they make up the bed. Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, Marlon, obviously, when you guys first started experiencing that crazy success, you were just a little guy. At what point did it register with you the monumental success level of the Jacksons?
That didn't register with me until I was an adult.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because we did it because we loved it, enjoyed it, and then when I was traveling as an adult on some other projects, people were coming to me and talking about how our music motivated them when they were young, and it was our music that is the reason why they're doing this or doing that. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, and to the same question you asked Jackie, and I'll tell a lot of celebrities, you know, this is just a job, just like everybody else have a job. That's all it is, a job. You know, I tell people all the time, when you walk on water, now you got me, baby. So, you know, it's just a job, and I'm blessed, I guess, to be able to work across this globe and to experience the various cultures the world have to offer and unite people together through your music throughout the world. I mean,
also, Marlon, I remember we used to love the success, level of success when we were going to London for the first time. Remember?
I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And we about 5 o'clock in the morning. The pilot says, "Jackson, you guys got 10,000 screaming fans sleeping at the airport waiting for you." I said, "Whoa, 10,000 screaming fans! They were sleeping in sleeping bags and right at the airport and waiting for us to land." And that's when I knew that something was, you know, we would have great success after that. It was.
I remember. I'm gonna tell you this story, Jackie. I don't know if I told you guys. I was at the airport. My wife had flown back east, and I was there to pick her up. And off the plane comes Spike Lee with all his Mets gear. I guess the Mets were in the World Series.
The Mets, yeah.
Yeah, the Mets. Because, you know, he's a total New York fan. He goes, "Marlon, you know, I was a professor at the school studying and teaching film, and you all came to town in Atlanta, and all the kids tore up the airport. I remember that time. He said, I have a question for you. Was that staged? I said, what in the world that was staged, man? We were running for our lives.
Tell the story about
because the fans, they just wanted a piece of you. If they can grab your hair and pull a piece out, they would not trying to hurt you, but they got a piece of you. And you would be running for your life. We got off that plane and fast. Those days you can come up to the gate. Go in the airport, you can go all the way to the gate. And we got out of the airplane and they just went crazy, and we just started running through there. You remember that, Jackie?
I remember that. Yep.
And tell the story about who got caught on top of the car.
Oh, that was in London. That was when we first arrived in London. I think it was you, Tito, right?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, it was me. Tell the story though. They chased you on top of a car and tried to tip the car.
They chased us through the whole complete airport. The brothers made it to the car slightly before I did, so I guess they thought they had everyone.
Yeah,
so the limousine took off. I jumped on top of the car.
It was a Daimler. Was it Daimler or something?
Daimler Benz, yeah. So I'm holding on for dear life.
Like I told you before, you know, fans just want a piece of you. Michael had on a scarf, and so the fans were pulling it one way, and the other fans were pulling it this way, not realizing that they were choking him.
Choking the poor boy in the middle. Yeah.
It can get dangerous at times, but you know, we lived through it. We handled it.
It's interesting though, and I can appreciate that you guys have maintained an understanding of who the fans are. You know, I think Marlon, you said it a second ago that they're not trying to hurt you. They just love you on a level that they just want to touch or get a piece. They want to have that, because that moment means you don't know what your music has done. To your point, you don't know what it's brought them through. You don't know what it's helped them understand or cope with, or your music could mean something so much deeper than just, you know, fun music. It could be something life-changing for them. So to be in your presence for a lot of those fans is life-altering. And it's interesting that, and it's great to hear that you guys have maintained an understanding that, you know, they weren't trying to necessarily chase you up on a car, Tito, but you should have gotten but they just wanted that moment, you know. It's exactly. I'm sure it's been intense. Do you with all of your global travels, when you guys were at the height of the Jackson era, what countries were just the most fanatical?
Well, I remember the first time we went to Germany. I think this is funny. And we get off the plane, they had many tanks circling. And we were in the airport. And the guys standing there with the machine guns around their neck. And Jackie, remember Michael went to the to get some candy off the thing. The guy looked at Michael and said, "Mike, you better be careful." But we said, because we've never seen that before, you know, machine guns at the
military.
Airport. Yeah, it was military, but our German fans are, you know, they're great, like the European fans. I mean, it's amazing that we have fans all over the world, and you don't realize, you know, how it touches and affected people. But not only that, then we go there today, and these kids are singing your songs. And I say, you weren't born when that song. You don't know. Our parents play you guys' music all the time throughout the house, and we grew up on it. And we love it too.
Yeah.
It still resonates throughout the world. It's evergreen music. It's family origin music, that's what makes it so great, I believe.
Jackie, who just popped in there?
Oh, that was my little one. He came to the front door, answered the front door, and he heard Uncle Marlon. Yeah, that was Jalen.
Tito, what about you, man? As you guys traveled the globe, what do you have any memories of specific countries that just kind of blew your mind for good or bad reasons? Just whoa.
Well, there's a few of them. You know, I remember the very first time we went to Senegal, Africa.
Yes.
And that was very exciting.
Interesting.
Like again, with many fans at the airport. and they were singing and dancing, doing the African chants and the whole thing. And it was a different culture, and going to the safaris and just seeing how people lived, and going to Goree Island and all of that. Yes, that's one of my favorite times. Yes.
What about you, Jackie?
Oh, first time we went to Morocco.
Morocco.
Morocco, right? First time there, and so I'm going outside, and I'm backstage. All the brothers are backstage, and it's big open field, huge. And all of a sudden, like 45 minutes before the show starts, nobody's out. Nobody's out there, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Nobody's out there.
Maybe they haven't heard of us in Morocco.
That's what I was thinking. All of a sudden, man, we go back out within about 40 minutes later. It was 175,000 people there. We wondered, where did they come from? 175,000.
Good Lord.
And we had Entertainment Tonight came down and filmed the whole thing. And they came, I don't know, where did they come from? All of a sudden, everybody was there.
Is that, what's the biggest single crowd you ever played in front of?
Oh, wow.
That was one of them.
Remember when we played in Wisconsin? And some type of
30,000 people, was like a boot type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took a boat to the stage.
Yeah, I remember that, Tito. I remember that.
A boat to the stage. Was it a floating stage?
That was like 200 and 300,000 people.
Good Lord. That just seems, can you comprehend that from stage? I mean, I've been fortunate to be on stage in front of thousands, but not 200,000 to 300,000.
As far as you can see, it's people.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's got to be, that's got to be mind altering a little bit, right? I mean, that's got to, at the time, does it resonate as much as it probably does now? I mean, when you walk out in front of that many people, is it just, let's do the show? Or does it hit you in kind of the immensity of the moment?
It's time to go to work for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
It gives you a great feeling to see all those people.
That's right.
Out there, and they're there for one reason, your music. And it makes you feel good inside. It really does.
What was not to get personal, but what was the backstage vibe like with the Jacksons? Was it real serious? Did you guys, or did you guys just kind of have some fun and then get ready right before the show? Or what was it like getting ready for a show?
That's what we do. We just cool out and relax and just walk around we train our voices before we go on. Drink a lot of tea and honey and warm the voices up, getting dressed, because we know it's a job to do,
Sure.
And we know it's going to be a great show, and the fans going to like it because they love to dance to our music, and that's what we do. We try to give them a great show where they can dance and have fun.
We get our hot water with the tea with the cayenne pepper and the ginger, and peppermint oil or something. Sip on that.
Put some Vicks in there, right?
Yeah.
Put Vicks in the water.
A couple of shots of Jack Daniel.
Just to keep it loose.
Yeah.
No, I'm only kidding.
We that's one thing that we've never done is that the liquor and all that stuff. It's amazing because I remember one time we did a show in Japan, and after the show, Macy Gray said, "Okay, what you guys gonna do now? What we doing?" I said, "What you mean? Where we going? What club we going to?" I said, "I'm going to bed." We go to bed and get our rest. We only go to no clubs. No, we don't go to clubs.
We just did our clubbing on stage, right, Marlon?
Yeah, that was it. That was the party, right? Yeah. Do you know how many top 10 hits we just played on stage? That was the club. We're good. Tito, when you think back to when you guys were kids and you guys were, again, talking about the heart and the height of the Jackson 5, who was the highest maintenance? Who was the one that always, was it, Marlon again with the...
Come on now.
We can all say it together. 1, 2, 3. Jermaine.
What made Jermaine the highest maintenance?
He was a mama's boy, Jermaine.
Yeah, and he likes to be perfect where he's too perfect, so he'll make a mistake. Like combing his hair, every strand's gotta be right there, you know.
I remember one time we was going on stage, right? And we was going we're going up the ramp, right? And there's this big heavy curtain. So the guy had the curtain in his hand. So all of a sudden the curtain slipped out of the guy's hand and the whole curtain hit Jermaine's head. Jermaine didn't want to go on stage.
I was going to say, he turns around and walks back off.
Yeah, he thought his hair was all messed up. It felt like it was smashed. I said, Jermaine, you look fine. He said, come on, let's go. We got to go on stage, brother. You can't go back in the dressing room. Let's go.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you guys ever have any shows that you didn't do, actually? You know, speaking of, I mean, I know you're joking when you said Jermaine wanted to turn around. Was there ever a moment or anything that happened that caused a show not to be able to happen?
No.
Yes.
Not really.
No. Which one, Marlon?
We used to get threats all the time, and they called and said there was a bomb under the stage.
Yeah, ridiculousness.
And the police dogs come out and they sniff and nothing, so we continue. But one time they did, and there was.
Oh wow!
And so we had.
There was a bomb under the stage.
Yeah.
And so they ended the show and took care of the matter. But it's amazing. One time we were doing the show, and I guess the fans figured out our exit. We got ready to leave. Those fans had put cylinder blocks all over, built a wall of cylinder blocks. We opened up, and we couldn't get out, so we ran another way. We had 6 of us in a Pinto. Remember that, Tito?
Yeah,
Our security was driving in a Pinto to get out.
Was there, with that level of fandom, and you know, right now you're talking about obviously something as immensely dangerous as a bomb threat and a legit bomb under a stage. Did you guys have a lot of moments where you didn't feel safe?
No,
I didn't think about that. All we thinking about is going on that stage, entertaining for the fans, because they was always chanting, stomping, waiting for us to come out. That energy, you built that energy. That's what we were thinking about the whole time, just doing a great concert.
Right? That was threats wasn't the first time. I remember another time we had threats and we had to go to the show in an armored truck. Remember that, Jackie?
Yeah,
wow. We did that a few times. So it happens, and some about just performing, you get on the stage and that energy, you do not even think about that stuff.
When, you know, you guys have said multiple times here that it was really all about the show, which I love. When it was the Jackson 5 and it was all 5 of you, who was responsible for building set lists? How'd you guys decide what you were opening, what you were closing? You know,
that's something that we did together as a group, and also too with the fans. We were actually our fans, but they would like to hear and hear the songs, and they would send us songs, and we get it together and put a list together, put the set list together. You know, sometimes you interchange and change them.
Thank you. You put a set list together, you do the show, and it didn't feel right, so you switch this song with that song, whatever it is.
Right.
And I know this is a horrible question. This is like asking your favorite child. So I'm not going to ask what your favorite Jackson song is, but what is your favorite Jackson song to perform live on stage? So Tito, for you first. Favorite.
Well, I like the. It's more than one. It's a medley of songs. I like the hits medley with "I Want You Back," ABC, "Love You, Save," and all the songs, hit songs.
It's got to be cool to do that now, right? I mean, you know, with all due respect, you're not kids anymore, right? It's not it's not the young little teenage Jacksons anymore. Like, you guys are grown men, but still, when those songs hit, like I remember on the Disco Cruise and on the Soul Train Cruise, when you guys did what I'm going to call the old school medley, forgive the term, people lost their minds in that moment. It just takes people instantly back to when they were kids and when they were growing up and watching that music. That's got to be a cool thing to see from the stage going out, because it probably has a similar effect on you.
Yeah, it's great because we must remember that when we started doing this show business thing professional, we were very young.
Yeah.
So our fan group is the ages we are now plus younger. So we've had an extended career, I would say, because a lot of the groups that we started out with, like the Shy-Lights and the Dales and Intruders, all these other groups, you know, they're older guys now. and we were just kids.
Yeah.
They used to always give us advice, you know, all the time, tell us to watch out for this or that, don't get the big head, whatever. So kudos to all those guys, Temptations,
Yeah.
Miracles, all of them.
Do any of you guys remember any specific advice you received from one of the other acts that resonated with you then and maybe still does?
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead, Marlon.
Go ahead, Marlon.
I remember this was at Tito. This was at your house when you had your birthday party a long time ago. So Michael and I sit down in the room, and David Bowie comes in there and tells Michael and I, "Do not do drugs." That's what he told us, and we took it serious. We sure did. We took it serious. That's exactly what he told us.
What about you, Jackie?
Like Tito's, it was some of the older acts, you know,
Yeah.
Berry Gordy, my parents, you know,
Sure.
kept us grounded pretty much. And, you know, Motown, the whole Motown family,
Yeah.
you know, we were one of Berry Gordy's, one of the biggest acts there. And
Yeah.
they had plans for us. They had plans.
Sure.
And they made sure we were all right. Had great security around us.
They weren't interested in seeing you derail yourselves, not to mention someone else try to derail you guys. I can imagine.
Right. I don't think I didn't think Berry Gordy realized that, and I didn't either. And I'll be honest, and I don't think the brothers did either. That we were going to be such a big success as we were. I mean, it caught everybody by surprise. It really did. We didn't think it, and I think the reason why it caught everybody by surprise is because, you know, the music that we did was geared toward a certain demographic, and that demographic was the young. Nobody was doing music for young kids.
Yeah.
What caught everybody by surprise is that, you know, the lyrics were for young kids, but the beat and the music was for adults and what was happening today. And so, you know, the parents, I remember some parents telling me, yeah, kids, yeah, okay, we'll take you to go see the Jackson 5. When they said they went, wow, the music was unbelievable. And they got hooked on the Jackson 5 music. So, you know, so you look at it, it was like people in our audience were adults, kids, everybody, because everybody loved the music. It was different.
And Jackie, I posed the same question to you that I did to Tito. When you guys were at the height of it, so not now, but back in those days, was there a song that you always looked forward to every set, or was it just the whole thing for you?
It was that first song, the first hit, I Want You Back, you know, because, you know, the whole gliss of the piano, the crowd go crazy when they hear that. And they still do today. They want to hear those hits, you know.
They want to hear their early stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I've been talking to a lot of wonderful stars, and I was actually talking to Gerald Alston and the Manhattans just the other day. And we were discussing, and I'm sure you guys will have a thought on this. It's interesting that some stars have taken what were their big hits, whether it was 10 years ago or 30 years ago or 50 years ago, whatever it was, and they've tried to, and I'm going to butcher this, but they've tried to young it up, right? They've tried to adapt and edit it. And it's interesting because on our cruises, very specifically, you watch when someone comes out and doesn't do the original true version of the song that person knows, loves, and grew up with, not having it. The guest is not having it. They're just like, no. Like, I Want You Back sounds like this. I remember how it sounds. Don't change it. Don't screw it up. Do you
recognize it? Yes, you're right about that.
It's interesting because you know, when you have such monumental hits like the Jacksons, you know, there's probably a little bit of temptation possibly to remix something, but it was done so beautifully the first time that, I mean, your fans, they remember that so vividly.
Because they will let you know, won't they?
They will let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
They will let you know if it's not right. If it's not soup, they're going to let you know, right?
Yeah. And the third verse, Jackie, you, like, whoa, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I think some of what a lot of our fans probably didn't realize is that before the Motown days, before, you know, 1969, 5-6 years, we were traveling we were traveling, going to Wisconsin, traveling to New York, you know, trying to make a name for ourselves, doing talent shows.
Apollo Theater.
Yeah, there's. I mean,
Uptown.
it wasn't just an overnight
Our
success.
theater.
It took a long time.
Tell to exactly that. You know, for anybody that wasn't on those cruises with us, tell everyone how the Jackson 5 actually got their name. I loved that story.
Oh, you love that story?
I love that
We
story.
were in Gary, and so we were playing a retirement home
In Gary, Indiana.
in Gary, Indiana, and this elderly Caucasian lady came up to us.
You can say little old white lady. It's okay. A little old white lady walked up.
A little old white lady came up to us, and she had loved the performance. She said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Well, we really don't have a name." She said, "You don't have a name?" She said, "What's your well, our last name is Jackson." Well, it's 5 of you, so why don't you just call yourself the Jackson 5? And there you have it. That's what it was. You remember that, Jack?
Yeah.
Remember that, Tito?
The true
So
story.
easy. Yeah.
True story.
It's insane to me.
Yeah.
It's insane to me how much musical lore and history a lot of times comes down to just a really kind of a happenstance moment, just a random. Who are you guys? Yeah, the Jackson. Yeah, Jackson 5. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Oh man, I wonder if as you guys, how much later before your first, from that moment to your first big radio hit, how much longer was it?
Maybe 6 years. We used to have a first we had a Ford van, and with a record with wings that said Jackson 5. Then we got the Volkswagen van. Remember that, T? And with our logo on it, traveling to Kansas City, Wisconsin, New York to do the Apollo, Chicago. You know, from Gary, Indiana. Every summer we go somewhere and do shows. And
St. Louis.
Yes, St. Louis, all those places. And Temptations, I guess it was called the Motown Review, was at the Regal one time when we amateurs, we doing the amateur night, you know, because they used to have the amateurs come before the big show and perform. And it was us and the 5 stair steps. We all were trying to make names for ourselves. And then Gladys Knight took interest in us and wanted to bring us to Motown, and for some reason we didn't. Then the next time around, Bobby Taylor, same thing, and my father said yes. And Jackie can, you know, elaborate on this more because he was older than I was, because I'm sure I'm missing some things. Right, Jackie Son?
Yeah, and we played for the mayor, Mayor Richard Hatchett, who passed last year, our mayor of Gary, Indiana. And he had a
Black mayor.
He was campaigning at the time, and we were performing, and he had a couple of professionals like Bobby Taylor.
No, I'm still on this interview. When I get off, I'll give you a call, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, keep going, Jackie. Keep going.
And Bobby and Gladys was there. So we performed, and Gladys saw the show, and she went back to Motown and told Berry Gordy about us. And so did Bobby Taylor. He went back and said the same thing, you know, about this group in Gary, Indiana. But it was a long while because we were signed with Motown at the time. We were signed with them. Right after that, we signed with them. And all of my friends.
Well, prior to that, Berry Gordy was, Jackie, prior to that time, I understand Berry Gordy wasn't interested. He didn't want another child act. He had enough problems
Stevie Wonder.
Right?
Yeah, enough problem with Stevie Wonder, right? Child act, yeah. And so they told him about us, and he had us play, you know, at somewhere in Beverly Hills, right? It was a famous restaurant in Beverly Hills. We performed there. Remember that, Marlon?
Daisy.
The Daisy. Yeah, that's after you signed with him. Yes, the Daisy.
Yeah.
Before his pool house.
Yeah.
But when we signed, our audition was at the Motown office on Michigan Avenue.
Yeah.
Really, Tito?
Yeah, it was up in the Motown office in the room.
Tito's right, Marlon. Tito's right. I remember
that.
I remember like yesterday, Barry was in the corner, biting inside of his jaw, waiting for the music to start.
And we singing live in front of him, singing, you know. And, yeah.
What was that initial response? What did Barry say at the end of that?
He walked over to us and he said, that was real good. He said, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make your first, first 3 records go to #1.
Yes, he did.
That's what he said. We just thought it was small talk.
Yeah, right.
Of course, we were excited because it was Barry Gordy saying this.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't only make the first 3; he made the first 4 go #1.
Yeah, just to prove, just to make sure you understood who Barry Gordy was. Yeah.
So, but the thing about it, I had asked us to. He said he was giving this party for Diana Ross the following day. Over at his house. He has a big mansion in Detroit, of course, and he was giving a party, and he wanted us to perform. Remember that, Jackie?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So
that was a star-studded party too. You've told me this story before. That was a kind of a that was a who's who.
Everybody was there. Every artist Motown had, just about. Temptations, Miracles, Steve. Everybody was there for Diana Ross's birthday party. And here we are singing all these Motown songs that belong to these artists.
You're singing their songs to them.
Yeah,
because we didn't have any songs out at that time.
So you got Marvin Gaye staring at you. You got, the Temptations, David Ruffin, all of those guys singing this. Here's the Gladys Knight and the Pips. It was something else.
That's that's when he said he bet you money on some putt golf holes, right? Yeah.
Well, he had a golf course in his yard. I think the back 9 or something. And so he's told us he'd give us each $100 if we make this putt. And we didn't know nothing about golf, and he gave us like a 7-iron to make a putt with a putter. Of course, you can't, unless you're a professional, you can make a putt with a 7-iron. But that's what he did. I thought it was funny now that I know something about golf.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Did anybody make the putt, Jackie? Did anybody make the putt?
No, we tore the green up. We tore it up. We're trying to get that $100,
Well, let's transition to more recent times. Jackie, we were talking right before the other brothers got on. You guys are still producing new music.
Yeah, we're working on stuff now and trying to prepare, like all the artists are doing right now. The people, got nothing to do, so they're in there making music, staying busy, trying to come up with some hit music, and that's what you should do.
Do you guys even have a rough? I mean, are you doing something with a rough timeline in mind? I mean, do people have like, oh my gosh, by the end of next year, hopefully the Jacksons will, or are you really just kind of in the woodshed stages of it?
Well,
it's in the woodshed stages of it, pretty much.
By the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
It's I think again, beating the horse. I've having talked with a lot of folks like yourselves, a lot of wonderful artists. Everyone is kind of saying the same thing, and it's once we're all let out of the house, entertainment is really going to be one of the key components of getting back to life. People are going to be clamoring for their artists, their favorite people, and you guys, I'm sure, had to postpone a whole bunch of dates. Do you have new dates lined up for later in the year or next year?
Yes, we do. We had to postpone them and put them back to a later date, as all the other artists is doing. I'm sure they're doing the same thing. And
it looks like most people are aiming at like September, October is kind of what I'm seeing.
You know what people are doing right now? You know what they're doing right now? People going to the drive-in. The drive-ins are back. People going to the drive-ins, and they put concerts on their drive-in screens. That's the real. They have it in Denmark. Check it out. You'll see.
I saw it.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah. Yep. I saw it. I saw it, and it's very cool. And people are into it. It's like a return to the good old days. People are.
Yeah. The drivers are back, baby.
Tito, as we are hopefully nearing the end of this, stay at home and the self-imposed and somewhat state-imposed quarantines, what are you most excited to get back to? Is it personal or is it professional?
Professional. I'm ready to go back on the road and perform live and do those things.
It's got to be hard having performed live, all you guys, your entire lives.
I've been home too long.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself, to be honest.
With me, I kind of like both of them because, like Tito said, we've been on the road for a long time, 10 years, and just kind of having a chance to enjoy your family right now, it feels good a little bit, But like Tito said, I want to get back out, entertain too. That's what we do best. I love doing the music. I love to see the fans' reaction. We do the songs, you know, and it's something that we like doing. You know, it's therapy for me too. It's also good staying home with your family and kids too as well.
Sure. Marlon, you know, I know that you've invested a lot of your time and effort into, and in fact, you got the hat on right there. Peace is a very big thing for you. Peace and love are a very, very big message for you personally, and I'm sure the Jacksons as a whole. What do you want to see come out of this? What do you want to see come out of the other side of this? Because I've heard a lot of different messages, but I think it's a great opportunity.
Well, first, let me answer your other question first.
Please.
What I'm looking forward to when all of this is over with, breathing some good air.
Yeah.
That way I don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah, true. On either end.
Right. I look at this thing at the COVID-19 situation, and the first thing that popped in my mind is that I don't think we as people of the world get the real message. And the real message to me is the Lord is telling you all, the world, you all need to come together, because to get rid of this, you got to work together in harmony and peace. And that's the real message. You can't get rid of this. You got to come together. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if this country has this problem taken care of and if this country doesn't, well, if I travel to that country or somebody else, then we're back at square one. The whole world's got to come together and work together to get rid of this. And that's what it's all about, coming together and working together.
And also what you're going to have a cleaner world, because everybody's going to be washing their hands. I'm going to keep washing my hands and being safe too. From now, I'm going to be much cleaner than I was before. You know what I'm saying?
I got a better solution.
What?
I'm not worried about these hands. I'm going to walk around with my hands up my butt. No, I'm just kidding.
The real Marlon Jackson right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Your mom called. She's on her way over. She's gonna whoop you now for saying that stuff on TV.
I thought it was how I was gonna keep my hands closed.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna wear gloves or something like that. Tito, kind of along those lines, do you have any messages, any thoughts for the end of this as we kind of near hopefully the conclusion?
Well, I just want to, of course, we always say thank you to all the fans, but I want all the fans to practice good, safe practicing with this COVID-19. Wear your gloves, wear your mask, stay the distance apart, and stay healthy, stay safe, because we want to see you. We want to play those songs for you again, and love and peace to everybody.
That's a great message. Listen, I truly, truly appreciate all three of you taking time to sit down with me and all your wonderful fans out there, giving us a little time. I don't take for granted, and it's not lost on me, the opportunity to sit down with the first family of music, the absolute legends that you are. And it's an honor to have gotten to know you over the past couple of years. And I really appreciate it. So I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone when I say, to echo what Tito just said, you guys be safe. You wash your hands. You wear the masks, because we all need the Jacksons back in our life as well. So don't think that doesn't go both ways.
Yes, it
one
does.
thing is that
Please.
We really had a great time doing the cruise and with the fans, and sitting down talking with them and sharing some of our personal lives with them. Yeah. It really made me feel good inside, and got a chance to just be up and close to them as they got a chance to be up and close to us. So I really enjoyed that. I want to thank you guys for that.
That's very kind. It was interesting, right? The difference. You've got the Soul Train cruise and the Disco cruise. You did both with us last year. Very different cruises, but still a lot of the same mental aspect, right? Everyone there is just fans. They love it.
It's just one great musical journey.
Yeah, it really is.
I didn't realize the fans wanted to hear the story.
Are you kidding me?
I was surprised. I was surprised to walk in that room and see they was hear these stories. Wow, I didn't realize the impact it was going to make.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Tito, if you get 3 lemons across that, do you get a roll of toilet paper? What do you win?
You get 3 lemons. You don't win nothing. This is in my house.
It doesn't pay out for anybody.
It goes in. It doesn't come out.
You're just collecting.
Just collecting.
Jackie, Tito, Marlon, you guys are epic and awesome as always, man. I love you for taking the time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Too.
Can't wait to see you guys again soon on another one of our cruises. Certainly live in concert here as soon as we can. And to all the fans out there and all the folks watching, whether you're a Stardust, a live cruiser, a fan of the Jacksons, or any and all between, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate having you here. As always, keep your eye on this YouTube channel for more content soon. Be safe, wash your hands, be healthy, my friends. On behalf of Marlon, Jackie, and Tito, be well.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Marlon.
Thank you.
Peace.